Hey guys, so in this one we're going to create actual ability to infuse weapons, and then we're going to fix a couple of the issues that we have and also prevent using different weapon infusion while we have one active. So first thing, there is a link in the description. You can download these two weapon infusions animations, and one of them is quite obviously for 200, so it wouldn't look good for 100 weapons or anything else. And since I don't want to do just the 200 weapon infusion, I also included the second one, which can work well on all of the weapons pretty much. What I'm going to do first though is change this rate scale to like 0.5 because it's a little bit too fast. Right? Or maybe even 0.4. Yeah, like that. And then don't forget to actually check enable root motion. And then we're going to right click and create any montage from it. And this will just be ability infused weapon 1 montage. Here, while we in the folder, we can also set up some notifies. So when he lifts his arm up, somewhere here, we're going to right click, add notify and montage notify, and this will be buff. So that's where we will apply it. And then in the end, we need to remove the ability tag. So when he finishes somewhere here, we're going to right click, add notify, and this will be remove gameplay tag. So we can do any action after and search for character, checks, is executing ability. We need to remove that. Save it. Now that's ability prepared. We need to go to actual enumerator first. So blueprints, enumerations, and search for abilities. Here I'm going to call it Infuse Fire. Save it. And then we need to set it up in the abilities data table. So open structs and DT, abilities data table, and here let's add new one. So same name, which is Infuse Fire. And name is Infuse Fire. Description is up to you. And cooldown, just for testing, I'm going to do 10. And then icon, I still don't have, so I'm going to do this one. And then color, we're not really using yet. Cost, I think it should cost mana because it's a weapon infusion, so I'm going to do quite a high cost for this, so we can't just infuse weapons all the time, even though it's probably going to have a big cooldown, but then when you change the weapon, I want to also turn it off. So mana, and then requirements, we don't need to do anything because I want to be able to use it on all of the weapons. So save it. And now let's go to conditions component. No, sorry, to abilities component. So right click in the player, edit ability component or open it. And here we now have new Infuse Fire ability. We can just copy this because we pretty much only need to play the montage. So select this first one, which we have done for stone form. All this. Go down, paste it, and then just drag it across to Infuse Fire. And we're getting the skeletal mesh here, getting the first one. There is only one in here, and playing the ability but not buff, but ability infused weapon montage. And then on the buff we will switch and we will do Infuse Fire condition. So it is now becoming very easy to actually set things up because we have done most of the setup that we needed. So now it's just adding on top of it. And so now we actually have ability that should work. Let me test it out. So let's play the game. We also need to learn it. So go to player, go to event graph, and I'll add one more ability on begin play. And this will be Infuse Fire from ability components. So now if I pick up some weapons, equip this one, and then go to abilities, I got new one. When I press it, There we go, I got the infuse fire. Alright, there's few things that we want to do with it. But first I want to fix a bug that we have at the moment, and that is it doesn't actually, when the buff runs out, it doesn't turn off from the offhand. And that is just because I forgot one thing, to do a little sequence in the condition. So this is where we infuse the weapon, but when we're turning it off, here on the bottom, we also need to destroy the offhand component. So best thing to do is to do sequence. You can do one after the other, but then for whatever reason, if this validity fails, then you won't even destroy the offhand. So it's always better to do sequence. Then we get the components, fire infusion offhand, get it, right click, convert to validated get, and if it's valid, we're going to destroy components, compile and save, and that will destroy offhand. And now also one thing I have noticed that I didn't really realize is that we can infuse fire on the shield, and that just looks awful and it shouldn't be happening. It's not really a weapon, so yeah, you don't want to have this. So what we're going to do on the condition itself, one more thing, and that is when we're infusing offhand, we're going to move it further down, and before we need to get owner, and we're going to get our combat type. So combat type, get current combat type message, which will give us player or enemy's combat type. At the moment I think it's set up only for the player. And then move it again. We're going to check if it equals enumerator. Actually we can do equals dual wield. We don't have to do not equal weapon shield and stuff like that, because only dual wield has offhand weapon. If you have some different combat types, I don't know what it would be, but if you have them, then you would just do or boolean, and then from true, if it's dual wield, we go here, and then still, just in case, check the validity, even though I can imagine having a combat type for dual wield and then not having an offhand equipped, but you never know, so always check the validity. And that will fix it for the shield. Now if I equip it, and I'm still infusing it only with the B button, but you can see the shield is fine. Alright, so that's the issues. And now what we want to do is to prevent using the duplicate infused weapon, so using the second one while we have one already equipped. So for that, let's go to conditions component first. We're going to add new variable, and this one will be active weapon infusion. It will be conditions enumerator, compile and save, and then in the condition, when we apply one of the infused weapons, we need to get owner. This is going to be a little bit messy here. You can organize it yourself a little bit better. And also it's good to pack abilities into the nodes, just so they are a little bit cleaner. And now here from the owner, we're going to get component by class. We will get conditions component, and then we're going to set active weapon infusion. And we will set it here to infuse fire. So we're just setting the condition that we're actually going to apply. And then we can, while we have this active weapon infusion, we can set up the function in this conditions component that will turn it off. So let's do, first let's go to condition one more time, and I think it's going to be better to add it here. So event graph, and here where you got event tick, we're going to add custom event, and this will be stop condition. Don't add it to the branch because that won't be true, but stop condition will go here to remove condition, set condition off and destroy component. So we will destroy component when this is called. And now we can call it from, I'm just thinking, stop condition. We can call it from the same one. Here we need to go through the actual component, because this is not when we're holding all the information. We're holding it inside the conditions component inside the array. So we're going to create function, and this will be remove active condition or weapon infusion, because it will be only for that. Remove active weapon infusion, and we're going to get these active conditions, which is a map array, and we're going to find this active weapon infusion, connect it, and then check if it was found, so true or false. And if it was found, from here we're going to, what did we call it, stop condition, which will then in turn call stop condition in here, and it will remove that condition. And also, if this condition is removed, that means it's destroyed and it's not valid. And in your timer, we have it set up that in the condition icon, we do a function that runs every 0.01 seconds. And if the condition component reference is not valid, it will clear the time and remove it. So we will remove it from the buffs as well, the icon and the timer. So that's nicely set up. And then this is pretty much it. We just need to call it from the condition before we apply infusion. So in the set condition, one more thing we will add here before this is from this conditions component, we will remove active weapon infusion. So that will remove it, and then it will set it to new one that we have, and then just keep going. On the when we're turning off the condition, we don't need to do anything. We don't really have empty or default conditions enumerator, so we can just leave it on infuse file, it won't matter. But now every time you set up new weapon infusion, you just need to call these two things. So remove active weapon infusion and set active weapon infusion to the one you're actually going to be creating. And if we compile and save, and now what's the best way to test it out? I'm going to go to health regeneration, because that's on my potion, so I can just drink potion, and I'm going to test it out by removing active weapon infusion. Well, I'm just going to drag it from here and then delete it. Remove active weapon infusion. So now when I play the game, let me try the offhand as well, if it works correctly. So main hand, offhand, dual wield. I'm going to actually use the ability, infuse both of the weapons, and then when I drink potion, you can watch my buff. It disappeared and is replaced by health regeneration. Alright, so the one was removed, weapon infusion. So that's what you basically need to do. And that is pretty much all. This was a very short one, but yeah, this is how we set up the nice ability. And I know some people wanted it on the potions. It's very easy because potions are already set up. All you have to do is just set condition in the data table, and it will do the same thing. So yeah, hope you like this one. I'll see you in the next. I forgot to add one more thing, and that is when we infuse weapon with fire, we should also have a burning effect, so we can burn enemies. And for that, let's go to conditions component. Here I'm going to create new variable. And sorry, not new variable, we need to create new function. And this one will be add effect. Learn effect, add effect is fine. Here we need to do input, which will be data table row handle. And then this one will be effect. Until now we were just setting it manually in a condition component in the player or in the enemies. So you have the poison here. I'm going to delete it so I don't have any. but then I'll learn this one with infusion. So after, in this add effect, we're going to get this effect array, sorry, just get it, and add, and we're going to add this effect. And then we also need to create one more, which will be remove effect, and that will do the same thing. So get effect, here we need to create input, which will be effect, same thing, data table row handle, and we will remove that effect, remove item, and this one here. Compile and save, and now in the condition all we have to do is set it somewhere. So after we infuse weapon with fire, here set this infusion, we can get from the conditions component and add effect. And right, it doesn't let us select it here, so we need to make data table row handle. This is why I prefer to actually create enumerators, even though it's extra work, but then it's easier to select and add and stuff. Here we have to actually select the data table effect and then write whatever the effect for burning is called. So for me it's just burn. So I'm going to write it here, burn, and then we can drag from the same one and remove effect. Remove effect when we remove the condition. So when this is off. And we need to do the same thing. We can copy this handle, paste it here, and remove burn. So now I'll just quickly test it. I'm going to pick up some weaker weapons so I don't kill these guys very quickly. But as you can see, I'm not applying any effects. But now if I go to my abilities, this is my fire infusion. I just added the icon and infuse it. There we go. Two of these guys already have burning. Right, so that's how it should work. Alright, that's it. See ya.